everyone, welcome. We're going to start this off. So this year our Pride theme for Lunenburg Pride 2022 is Together We Rise, because we wanted to reunite the community after 2 years of COVID and all the stuff that's been happening. So we figured we want to bring everybody together and rise up and join forces and become one united community. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to my board member, Secretary Robin Mayo, to give our keynote speech. Oh no, sorry, wrong. We're going to hand it over to State Rep Mike Kuchmerek to give some remarks. Wrong person.
As he sneaks from the garden.
Right through the garden? Yeah. You want me to jump in? Or
you go first.
You're first.
All right. Everybody, I want to thank you for being here today. 2 years in a row now I've gone from Fitchburg's flag raising to Lunenburg's. And Lunenburg has about a quarter of the population of Fitchburg, but yet has like 4 or 5 times as many people that come out. So I want to thank the Lunenburg community for coming out and for standing up. Earlier I talked about it's been more than 50 years, 52 years in fact. Thank you for that correction earlier. Since Stonewall, and it was a watershed moment for gay rights in the United States. And it was supposed to be that monumental moment that would put us on an irreversible course forward towards progress. And in so many ways, and for decades, it was. And not just for gay rights, but for human rights. And, I think now we're at this point where we're seeing how fragile that progress was. And how quickly it can be undone by an activist court at the federal level. And in a blink of an eye, how protections at the state level or the national level can disappear. And somehow that the next generation can somehow have less rights than ours. And I think for so many, that's a staggering thought. And it's a scary thought. And so while we come together to celebrate and to mark the progress that has happened in these 52 years, there's this somber underpinning. And we have to take note that our protections and our rights are under siege at every level. And I'm proud to say that the Massachusetts legislature will stand with you in every community that is underrepresented, underserved, and at threat. We will stand up, we will act, but the state legislature alone is not enough. We can't take these rights for granted and just say, we're in Massachusetts, that's enough. It's not enough. Even when the governor and the legislature are on the same page, a Supreme Court or a Congress at the national level, legislators in Alabama or Mississippi or Texas or Florida can decide what your rights are. And we need to make sure that we stay active. So while we celebrate today, it is so crucial that we stay vigilant, that we continue to come together. And whether it's voting, whether it's donating to candidates and to causes, whether it's making phone calls for them and being active, whether it's flying the pride flag at your house or in your town and city hall, step up, act out, and stand united with our community. There's nobody better than our Lunenburg Pride organization. Let's give them a round of applause. It is so crucial that we have organizations and individuals like these standing behind me that are willing to take the lead and put their lives in jeopardy at times. And again, we take it for granted in Massachusetts. But make no mistake, these are brave individuals standing behind me. They have received threats, and they have endured much more than I will ever know in my life. So I want to thank you for everything that you do in our community and throughout our Commonwealth on behalf of everybody in Massachusetts. And I also want to convey the Select Board Chair of Lunenburg, Michael Ray Jeffries, called me on my way here. He was here last year and he spoke passionately about his life experiences and wanted to be here to share this moment. He's going to be here for the picnic in about an hour, but unfortunately he can't be with us in this moment. But he wanted to send his support and his love at this event. And so thank you to everybody for coming out, and look forward to raising this flag over Lunenburg.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from our Secretary of the Board, Robin Mayo.
Thank you everyone, and thank you for coming. First off, I want to apologize that I have to yell. We don't have power, so we don't have a sound system, so I hope you can all hear me over the noise of the traffic. So forgive me if you can't. If you missed something and you want to ask me about it, follow up with me later. This is the State of Pride address that I have the dubious honor of giving every year. And it's probably the darkest one that I've ever written, if I'm being perfectly honest. But as bad as things are, and they're bad, you know, Rep. Kushmerek just talked about how we've received threats. I mean, I've been followed by Confederate flags from our events. Anthony has as well. You know, stuff's scary, and it's a really hard time to be one of us in the community, which is why it's so important that we band together. Things may look bleak, but as Rep. Kushmerek talked about, this is Massachusetts. And while they may try to come at us, it's our job to unify and get ready for this. Because as bad as it is in the rest of the country, what do people look at as their solution right now? If you know people who are in some of the bleaker places right now, like Idaho or Alabama, where they're criminalizing, or Texas, I should say, where they're criminalizing and going after people with DPS, like, it's dark, right? But what do they look at? Who are they looking at? They're looking here, and we are seeing what I'm calling mass immigration, Massachusetts immigration. We are a shining beacon on a hill, dare I use the phrase, and they're looking to us. It's us, we're the solution. And so they're starting to migrate here to Massachusetts. They're moving here to us in the hopes of a better life. I have moved one trans girl out of the South and back home to Fitchburg just in the past month, and I thoroughly expect to have another one living in my home within the year, just because that's how bleak it is, right? But they're coming here because we're a bastion of safety. Massachusetts has laws on the books to protect us as the queer community, to protect gender non-conforming individuals, to protect, frankly, let's broaden it up now, women. They're coming here. That's us. And so it's time for us to live up to their expectations. When they get here, we need to be able to meet their basic needs. They need jobs, a place to live, a doctor to see, and they're going to be leaving all of their friends and family behind, and they're coming here. And that's on us to fill in. The more intersectional your identity is, the harder it is to get and keep a job. It's almost impossible to get housing sometimes. Same-sex couples usually only send one partner to view an apartment because if we both show up, we're just not going to get a call back, right? Healthcare, it's the same thing. You got to know who the safe doctors are in your area. And I'm fortunate to say, I've had several approach me at our flag raisings today alone to get plugged in and announce themselves as a safe provider for people to come to. And lastly, just society as a whole. It's incredibly difficult to make friends when you're queer. It's so hard to find other queer people. And when these people are moving and doing this mass immigration, we can't condemn them to a life alone when they get here. They need us. And so this is your call to action this year. We need to become that support network. A Pride chapter isn't a festival that we throw every year like we're about to do on Saturday. We are a visible reminder to the entire community that we are here, we're not going away, and we are organizing in the face of insurmountable odds. We are first and foremost a year-round community service organization in the same vein as the Rotary or the Elks are, giving back to our community. And secondly, we are a massive group of friends who all know what it's like to be the underdog. So what can you do? Are you a local employer or are you in management? You can employ a non-binary person and defend them in the workplace and keep them safe, both from threats within and without who would see them not be there. I'd be willing to bet that someone here has an apartment that they rent out. And maybe when it comes up, you know, and it's free again, that'd be a safe place for a lesbian couple to be able to hang their pride flag in the door. Or maybe it'd be a safe place for a trans person to come out and be their authentic self for the very first time in their lives. Frankly, Our festival's a great time for you guys to come down and get those flags and start hanging them up. So you know what I've seen? There are more Gadsden flags hanging in Lunenburg than there are Pride flags. And that scares me. And it's time for all of us to start showing our flags in our local neighborhoods. Trust me, simply planting your flag where your neighborhood can see it like I've done in Whalum 24/7, 365 days a year could save the life of the gay kid down the street and you would never know it. It is time to put our colors on display. We have, like I mentioned before, we have community members who work in healthcare and more showing up even today, and it's extremely exciting. But maybe some of you are doctors and nurses, and you can point people in the right direction through getting involved with our organization. And at the absolute bare minimum, every single one of you probably have room for more friends in your life. So getting plugged in and active in our community is one of the best things you can do. Because the more of us there are hanging out at each other's backyard barbecues year-round, the tighter our community gets. We have spent the last 2 years hiding indoors, so it's the perfect time to get out and start making friends. Congratulations, you're now part of that support network for Northern Worcester County. Just by showing up here today, you've shown that you have the commitment and the willingness to stand out and be brave with us. It is time for us to show people the true spirit of Massachusetts, that we are a bastion of civil rights and home to the revolution. Now get out there and prove me right, and I can't wait to speak to each and every one of you at the picnic and at our festivities throughout the rest of the week to make my next State of Pride speech a little less bleak. I'm going to turn it over to Anthony. He's going to tell you exactly what's going down this week. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Robin. So later tonight, we're lighting up City Hall in Gardner at 7 p.m. in rainbow lights. And also at 4 p.m. we have a picnic right over here on the lawn across the street, organized by Chloe from a high school here in Lunenburg. Also, tomorrow night at the Fitchburg Dog Park, we have our first ever Pause Up for Pride Pet Pride event. And then Friday, we have our reception at the Fitchburg Art Museum from 6 to 9 p.m. Saturday's our main event, our big Pride Fest at Riverfront Park in Fitchburg from 12 to 7 p.m. And then Sunday we have our Community Day of Fun starting at 1 p.m. at River Six Brewing Company with a high heel dash, and then going into a tea dance right after to finish off Pride Week with a fun celebration. So I implore you to come check out all our events. It's going to be a fun time. We want to thank the Frosted Flyer for being here. They've been giving out ice cream at all our flag raisings today. They'll be at the festival on Saturday. I also want to take the time to recognize a local business, Lucky Dog Home Improvement, who sponsored us this year. We want to say thank you for your sponsorship and thank you for coming out to our trunk or treat last October. And now I'm going to invite Chloe and Jared up to come raise our pride flag.
Pet Pride Festival is going to have a groomer there who's going to do nail trimmings for the dogs. We have little pet baskets. We're going to have a watering station for the dogs.
Let's have a round of applause!
No, it's bad.
Great job.
She's a great potato.
We have a pup that's a potato with feet.
She has a nice rainbow costume.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. We hope to see you over at the picnic in a little while.
We took her to that
Oh.
Well, it's not her.
Hello, everyone. What? I don't think that's working. I might not have been louder. Yeah, I'll just speak loud. So, today for this event we have a representative from GSALink, Eli, here to speak, and we have Anthony from Lunenburg Pride to speak also. So, I would like to thank everyone for being here this afternoon. It has been an honor to work on this project with help and contributions of everyone. Like, we have so many donations from local businesses, and just thank you all for showing up. This is an amazing turnout, and thank you to our speakers. And they're going to be just speaking on the behalf of their organizations. So I'd like to start with Eli, if that's all right, and they'll come up here and share a few words.
Hi everyone, can everyone hear me all right? We all good? All right. So, Chloe, thank you so much for arranging this. This is amazing. It's truly an honor. Hi everybody, my name is Eli and I am a representative from GSALink. That is a local nonprofit here in Worcester County that works to connect, empower, and inspire LGBTQ youth. I'm also a senior at Clark University, and I'm here today to talk to you guys a bit about GSALink and a bit about my own story. So, I came out as trans when I was 13 years old, and I was extremely lucky to have parents who put their own fears aside to help me to become the best person I could be. I was 14 when I had hormones and top surgery thanks to the fighting that my parents did against the insurance company, and since then I've worked as an advocate for other trans youth to be able to get the gender-affirming care that they need. Despite everything that I had, I still really struggled socially and emotionally at school and academically, and that's where GSALink comes in. I was vice president of my school's GSA, and one day one of the freshmen came up to me and handed me a little flyer that he and his mom had made, and he said, "Me and my mom are making this little inter-school GSA for a couple of surrounding towns. Why don't you come?" And I came, and it was 3 of us. And the next meeting was 4, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger until we expanded to so many towns. I'm from Northborough. We were reaching all the way over. We were reaching Western Mass. We were getting to Boston. It was absolutely amazing. So I got involved with GSALink when I was 17. I'm 21 now, and I could not have predicted what would have happened. Melissa Clark, she is Ryan's mom. Melissa and Ryan Clark made GSALink, and they have dedicated countless hours, and they have poured their hearts into this organization. And I cannot begin to explain how thankful I am for GSALink. When I entered college, I knew I would still want to continue working for them. And I wanted to be able to help other students who came after me continue to fight the good fight that we did. Because when I was in high school, I was still fighting for gender-neutral bathrooms, and that still hasn't happened at my school. I know there's a student there now who reached out to me recently. He was like, "We need your help." And it's just so amazing to see like this next generation of queer students in high school coming and doing the amazing work. GSALink is a place for students like that to connect and to form networks and to meet with each other. I was the only out trans kid at the time at my school. I came out in 2014, 2015-ish. I graduated high school in 2019. I was one of the only out trans kids for a very long time, and it was scary. I was dealing with stuff like getting kicked out of the bathrooms, not being allowed to participate in gym class, and having GSALink there, just meeting other students who are going through the same thing as me was just amazing. I cannot explain how much it helped my social health, emotional health, everything. So I want to talk a bit about what GSALink does specifically. Some of our programs include a program that I helped create, which is called Linked Mentoring. It is this amazing program that takes queer youth ages 7 to 17 and partners them with queer college students to help foster an important relationship that we know. It shows that when a student has this sort of mentor, somebody who's gone through experiences, somebody to talk to, it's extremely beneficial, and it's a very symbiotic relationship for the two of them. Other programs we have at GSALink include parent support groups for parents of queer children. I know my parents really could have used something like that, because when I came out, they knew they loved me, but they had no idea what to do. They had no idea what was going on. And to be able to just have other parents there is so important to so many people. Other programs we have something called Little Links, which is for gender diverse youth. So for genderqueer youth, ages like 3 to 8 or so, 3 to 10, just to have a place for them just to be kids. GSALink is, I like to say, it's a normalizing experience. It's a place where you can come and be queer, and it's just you. It is just you and your friends, and I can say that spending time at GSALink, having these connections, it has been some of the best moments of my life. So once again, Chloe, thank you so much for organizing this. Thank you so much to everybody for coming, and have a great rest of your days.
And now we're going to have Anthony from Lunenburg Pride.
I don't need the mic, I'm loud enough. I'm Anthony, I'm from Lunenburg Pride. I also have 3 of my other board members here. We have Sally Powers, who is our vice president. We have Robin, who is our secretary, and we have James, who is our member at large. Our treasurer will be here this weekend with us at the festival. I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank Chloe for organizing this. It takes a lot of courage to organize this. When we did first start in 2019, we did experience some pushback here in Lunenburg, especially. Someone in town had a large property and donated it to us to do some events there, and then his neighbors all sued us to stop the events. So with that, we couldn't do it, but we're glad to be back to be raising the pride flag right here in downtown and supporting Chloe with this picnic. I want to thank my board members for all the hard work they do year-round with us for organizing our Pride Week, which starts today. So later tonight, we'll be in Gardner lighting up City Hall in rainbow lights. Tomorrow, we have a pet pride event at the Fitchburg Dog Park. We have a reception at the Fitchburg Art Museum on Friday night. Saturday is our big main event with our festival on Riverfront Park from 12 to 7 p.m. And then Sunday is our community fun day with a high heel dash and a tea dance to close out Pride Week. So we invite you all to attend some of our events. We also want to say this is a time for action. Get out there and vote. It's very important. From the local level all the way up to state and federal levels, because without voting out the hate, we will not turn this country back around to keeping our civil rights. The abolishment of Roe v. Wade after 50 years of precedent is very, very tragic to every other right for the civil rights movement, including gay rights and racial rights. All that can be erased in the drop of a dime with what the Supreme Court did, and we need to get out there and vote to change everything from the local level all the way through to the federal level. So get out there and vote, and I just want to say, as an extension to what Eli said, heterosexuality is not normal, it's common. So don't ever think if you are an LGBTQIA+ youth that being that way is different or not normal, because it's not. Heterosexuality is not normal, it's common. Thank you guys. Thank you, Chloe, for having us.
So that concludes speeches, and thank you guys so much for coming, all of you. Thank you to our wonderful speakers for sharing their time and sharing information about their organizations. And yeah, all good. Have fun.
If you have any questions about GSALink, please feel free to come up to me. I'll stay for a bit.